the real world envelops the sports world, or there are people in the sports world who can't ignore what's going on in the real world and talk about it, okay? So how do we start here? LeBron James is talking publicly, tweeting about what happened in Charlottesville over the weekend, saying that we all need to come together and love one another, and that is the way that we will get through the scourge of white supremacy, neo-Nazism, fascism that reared its ugly head in public over the weekend in Charlottesville, where the football team is getting together for the 2017 season. The football team taking a photograph, a team photograph, locking arms in Charlottesville, Virginia. And none of them, it appears, to be in uniform. And in that regard, two-year captain Micah Kaiser said, "We didn't take a team picture last year. So us together as a team not really wearing football gear, because a lot of times people think African Americans are here to just play football. We wanted to show that we're not just here to play football. We're here to be great stewards of our community, get a great education, and play football." The head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, saying that to a man on the team that there wasn't much concern. He was expecting more concern about being able to play football in the town where so much ugliness was on display. Howie Long, very vocal about it yesterday, talking about the town in which he raised his children, saying that it's wrong for this town to be associated with hate mongering. And then there's the world of football, where Marshawn Lynch and Michael Bennett are now the latest players to not stand for the national anthem. Marshawn not doing much talking, as is his wont. Michael Bennett is more of a talker, and that doesn't mean that he doesn't walk it either. He does. He is very community-minded. He has done much for all the communities in which he has played. Tampa, Seattle. He's gone to Haiti to put his figurative money where his mouth is, to help people in war-torn and economically torn communities. And I'll say this, what we saw over the weekend, and I didn't talk about it yesterday, and the events of what happened yesterday have led me to want to take to this microphone and take some time, if you'll indulge, to say the following. And I tweeted this over the weekend, there is just one side. I cannot believe it's 2017 and fascism, that we all know people who fought in World War II. My uncle did in the Japanese theater. He fought fascism. The fact that we're still confronting it in a public manner in our society, and that there are sides to be discussed, there's only one side. There's only one side. You know, if you're a fan of mine, which I appreciate, my wife and I have 3 babies in the world. Fascists would have killed me and my wife and my 3 children if we lived in the wrong time and were caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. We'd be dead. Dead just because of how I was born. How is that happening in 2017? And what the protests that we saw over the weekend, where a young lady's being laid to rest today, hit by a car. And people have a problem in the manner in which Michael Bennett and Marshawn Lynch and Colin Kaepernick are protesting. Now, the issue with Bennett and Kaepernick and Marshawn protesting in the manner in which they are protesting is folks conflate it with being anti-American and anti-military and anti-first responders. And let's not forget the 2 Virginia state police officers who lost their lives in a helicopter crash trying to keep Charlottesville safe. Let's not forget those 2. And I have disagreed with the Kaepernick pig socks. I've said it before, but I want to focus on the fact that folks are conflating the issue that Bennett is a member of the military in terms of his dad was a member of the military, okay? So he's a military family. Robert Klemko, who writes for the MMQB and has written on this subject over and over again, and expertly, I might add, he tweeted this letter from an email he got from a reader over the weekend. I'm a 53-year-old white guy, and this weekend woke me up and completely turned my opinion of these protesters, meaning the athletes. I understand now that they aren't protesting the anthem or the flag. They are protesting systemic racism. They are just protesting during the anthem with the objective being that someone will put a microphone in front of them so they can get a message out. Maybe we should all sit down. I would be okay with that. And you might be sitting there and saying, you know what? I still don't agree with it. They shouldn't be sitting during the national anthem. Certainly since Michael Bennett says he won't stand again until there's justice for all. And man, have we fought for that for centuries. Centuries. And you could say that means he'll be sitting forever during NFL games. Richard Sherman, his teammate, said this. And I think this is important to read here. And Richard is one of the smartest guys that plays in the National Football League, okay? I understand that many people were introduced to Richard Sherman when he was in a full-on post-game haze when he was with Aaron Andrews after picking off, I believe it was Kaepernick, right, Brockman? Didn't he pick off Kaepernick in the end zone?
I want to say yes.
Wasn't that it?
Let me check.
I think he picked off, of all people, Colin Kaepernick, just with the irony, I guess, when he was just screaming and yelling, and everybody. That's the way they introduced Richard Sherman. He is a father. He says outrageous things from time to time, but he's got his head screwed on straight. This guy. He said this when defending Michael Bennett's rights. With what's going on in society today, freedom of speech is only free to certain people, and it's unfortunate. If you walk around with a Nazi flag and a Confederate flag and you say we're displaying our rights, people say that's their freedom of speech, and that's perfectly fine. But a person protests again what Colin and Mike are protesting against. It's outlandish and outrageous and against the truth. But if a Nazi flag isn't a slap in the face to the U.S. military, then I don't know what is. We literally were a part of a world war and sent tons of troops to Normandy, and so many soldiers lost their lives, and you're saying it's okay for these people to walk around with a Nazi flag, and that's just their freedom of speech, and you're more outraged by this kid sitting down during the national anthem? He's given back to the troops, meaning Bennett, and he's honored the troops every chance he gets, and he's always showed tremendous respect to the military. It's not about that. I'm sure our servicemen and women see a Nazi flag as more of a slap in the face than somebody not standing for the national anthem, end quote. Amen, Richard. And I don't want to hear this is politics. It's not politics. It's what's right and what's wrong. It's a human story we're talking about here. Just wanted to get that off my chest.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you liked some of that, get some more of that on the Rich Eisen Show app. Follow all the information you see right here on the Rich Eisen Show.